If you don't believe in monsters, you might start questioning that by the end of this video. And if you do believe in them, there's a good chance you've never heard of some of the creatures on this list, especially the last one. A creature so strange that many people refuse to believe the legend even exists. But here's the real question. Why did civilizations separated by thousands of miles all create stories about terrifying creatures lurking in the darkness? Was it fear? Was it imagination? Or were these legends inspired by something people genuinely believed was real? For thousands of years, these monsters were more than stories. They were warnings, explanations, and sometimes the embodiment of humanity's deepest fears. From ancient labyrinths and cursed swamps to frozen Arctic waters, these are 10 of the most terrifying mythological monsters ever recorded around the world. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Minotaur. Imagine entering a maze so vast and confusing that escape becomes impossible. Every corridor looks the same. Every turn leads deeper into darkness. And somewhere inside, something is waiting. According to ancient Greek mythology, beneath the palace of Knossos on the island of Crete existed a labyrinth unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. At its center lived the Minotaur, a terrifying creature with the body of a man and the head of a bull. The monster was said to be born from a curse placed upon King Minos, becoming a living symbol of divine punishment. Legend claims that young men and women from Athens were regularly sent into the labyrinth as tribute. Once inside, they were never seen again. Only the hero Theseus eventually entered the maze and confronted the beast. With the help of a thread given to him by Princess Ariadne, he found his way through the labyrinth, defeated the Minotaur, and escaped alive. What's fascinating is that archaeologists later uncovered the real Palace of Knossos. Its complex network of rooms, stairways, and corridors was so confusing that many historians believe it inspired one of history's most famous monster legends, a real palace transformed into a nightmare that survived for thousands of years. Chapter 2. The Hydra. Some monsters can be defeated. The Hydra became famous because defeating it only made it stronger. Deep within the swamps of Lerna in ancient Greece lived a giant serpent with multiple heads. But the creature's most terrifying ability wasn't its venom, it was regeneration. According to legend, every time one of its heads was cut off, 2 more would grow back in its place. The more you fought it, the worse the problem became. When Hercules faced the Hydra during one of his legendary labors, brute force alone wasn't enough. For every head he severed, more appeared. Realizing this, Hercules changed his strategy. After removing each head, he used fire to seal the wound before new heads could grow. Only then was the monster finally defeated. The Hydra became such a powerful symbol that its name is still used today to describe problems that seem impossible to eliminate. A monster whose greatest weapon was turning resistance into weakness. Chapter 3. The Banshee. Not every monster attacks with claws or teeth. Some simply announce their arrival, and that may be even more terrifying. In Irish folklore, the Banshee is a mysterious female spirit whose haunting cry is believed to signal an approaching death. Unlike many legendary creatures, the Banshee doesn't kill, she warns. Descriptions vary across different regions of Ireland. Some describe her as an elderly woman dressed in grey. Others portray her as a pale figure with long flowing hair. But one detail never changes: the scream, a chilling wail said to echo through the night before tragedy strikes. For centuries, families took these stories seriously. Reports of strange cries were often interpreted as omens, and tales of banshee encounters continued well into the 19th century. Whether spirit, superstition, or cultural memory, the banshee became one of the most feared figures in Irish folklore, because sometimes the most frightening thing isn't the monster itself, it's what the monster represents. Chapter 4. The Oni. In Japanese folklore, few creatures inspire fear quite like the Oni, towering figures with horns, sharp claws, and immense strength, often depicted with red or blue skin and carrying massive iron clubs. Oni are not merely monsters, they are symbols. Symbols of disaster, disease, punishment, and chaos. Stories describe them as powerful beings capable of bringing suffering wherever they appear. For generations, they became embodiments of humanity's fears. What's remarkable is that the influence of the Oni remains visible even today. Every year during the Japanese festival of Setsubun, People throw roasted beans while shouting phrases meant to drive evil spirits away, a tradition rooted in ancient beliefs surrounding the Oni. More than 1,000 years later, the legend continues to survive, a reminder that some monsters never truly disappear. Chapter 5. The Rock. Imagine looking up and seeing a bird so enormous that it blocks out the sun. That was the Rock, a legendary creature appearing throughout Middle Eastern and South Asian folklore. According to the stories, the Rock was so large it could carry away elephants in its talons. Entire ships were said to fear encountering it. The creature became famous through tales found in 1001 Nights. Yet the legend spread far beyond fiction. Even the famous explorer Marco Polo recorded stories about gigantic birds reported by sailors during his travels. Whether inspired by giant extinct birds, exaggerated encounters, or pure imagination, the Rock became one of the largest monsters ever described in mythology. A creature so vast that reality itself seemed too small to contain it. Chapter 6. The Nuckelavee. If there is a creature that feels like it escaped from a nightmare, it may be the Nuckelavee. Originating from Scotland's Orkney Islands, this terrifying being is often described as a skinless, horse-like creature fused with a human rider. Its exposed muscles and grotesque appearance made it one of the most disturbing figures in European folklore. According to legend, wherever the Nuckelavee traveled, disease followed. Livestock died, crops failed, communities suffered. People believed the creature was responsible for countless misfortunes. Yet there was one weakness: fresh water. Crossing running water was said to repel the monster. For generations, farming communities relied on rituals and traditions connected to this belief whenever unexplained illness struck their animals. A terrifying reminder of a time when disease itself felt like a supernatural force. Chapter 7. The Tikbalang. Deep within the forests of the Philippines, travelers feared becoming lost, not because of the wilderness, but because something might be leading them astray. The Tikbalang is described as a tall creature with the head of a horse and the body of a human. According to folklore, it delights in confusing travelers. Victims find themselves walking in circles, unable to escape despite following familiar paths. What makes the legend particularly interesting is that stories of becoming mysteriously lost still exist today. Some people refer to the experience as being Nakkubalang. Whether psychological phenomenon or cultural tradition, the legend remains deeply woven into Filipino folklore because getting lost can be frightening. Believing something is intentionally making you lost is even worse. Chapter 8. The Empusa. Ancient Greek roads were dangerous places after dark, and according to legend, one creature made them even more dangerous. The Empusa, a shape-shifting being associated with the goddess Hecate. Stories describe the creature as capable of disguising itself in different forms to lure unsuspecting travelers. One unusual detail frequently appears in the myth: a single bronze leg. The Empusa became a warning, a reminder to avoid wandering alone at night, a cautionary tale hidden inside ancient travel traditions. Because in a world without streetlights, maps, or modern protection, darkness itself could feel alive. Chapter 9. The Abere. Across parts of West Africa, the sea has long been respected as both a provider and a danger. Within local folklore emerged the legend of the Abere, a mysterious water spirit said to lure fishermen with haunting songs before pulling them beneath the waves. The stories served as reminders of the ocean's unpredictable power. Before setting out to sea, communities often developed rituals intended to show respect toward the waters they depended upon. Whether viewed as spirit or symbol, the Abere reflected a truth understood by generations: nature can be beautiful, and nature can be deadly. Chapter 10. The Qalupalik. From labyrinths in ancient Greece to the frozen waters of the Arctic, every civilization created monsters, not simply to scare people but to explain mysteries, teach lessons, and give shape to fears that couldn't otherwise be understood. Thousands of years later, these legends continue to survive, and perhaps that's the strangest thing of all. The monsters may be ancient, but humanity's fascination with them never disappeared. Which of these mythological monsters do you find the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the darker side of history and folklore, don't forget to subscribe for more mysteries from the ancient world. Thanks for watching.